This has 3 layers on it, but tell me that's not some good stuff. But the underlayer has like all of these colors that I did first and came back and then did this red on top. But all of my old wall is on there. So we just have this really neat, sophisticated print. Hey y'all, welcome to my Saturday channel here. My name is Robin McClendon. I'm a mixed media artist. I have written a book that's been an amazing bestseller in gel plate printing for mixed media art. Many of you already have it. For those of you who don't, there's a link below. You can go check it out and see if it's something you want. We're going into our 3rd printing and I'm excited, as well as I'm working on some new projects. But anyway, so today I'm working with the big plate. I'm also working with these masks by Mary Beth Shaw from Stencil Girl. I love these. Really, they're very organic, sort of font flora and aquatic. They have that kind of feel to me. So I'll show you them. I'm using them as masks. I've made a lot of pieces. This is the last piece I pulled. Look at this. I'm looking at this and thinking, how cool would it be to be sort of like book covers that maybe I'd come back and do some of my bordeaux techniques on with textiles and things like that. But I just thought I would show you the last one I pulled. This is the super large gel plate with Jelly Arts. This thing is amazing. It's 18 by 24 and it is just iconic. I love it. In fact, I've been working on it and it's forced me back into some of my old printmaking habits or techniques. When I started working with it, I was real, and I'm gonna show you. I'll show you what it is. But it was just bringing back the good old days, because this plate is really big, and we're getting even more and more into this space of just being able to make really large, yummy pieces of mark making papers, of decorative papers for collage, and you literally can just make such large sheets. There's so much freedom to work on it. And then don't start off trying to think of like a finished piece of art. Just have fun with it. Just start experimenting with making your papers for collage, for momigamiing, for large pieces you can tear down into book sheets. Think about it like that until you really get a good handle for what you can do on this plate. I'm going to work on full sheets of wet strength paper. And the wet strength paper has been pulling beautifully. It just works so nicely. So I'm going to start off with 3 tones. I'm going to do an orange. I want to do this pink. It's not going to be exactly an ombre, but we're going to kind of do the 3-color Mark Rothko. For those of you who know my techniques, that's what we're doing right now. Just to get a nice palette here. So I always kind of start, I'm not going to change my brayer, so I just start with blending the lightest color first. And when you do this, when you work with colors, when you're going to start layering, always work with your lighter colors first. So you want to think about it like oil painting, and also what's traditional in printmaking is you just start with your lighter colors first. They'll be on that bottom level, but then when you start masking out and doing things with your layers, that color is always going to be below. So you want to go light to dark, not dark to light. And then that way you keep your colors pure and some really neat things going on here. Okay, so here we got our Mark Rothko. Okay. Alrighty. So now these are her stencils. So we're just going to put some of these shapes around. So what I'm doing is you could actually put a piece down where the color is already established and then come back and put these on. But I want the white to show through because the wet strength paper stains so beautifully, and I want that staining in the final piece. And these are just some circles that I cut out on some plastic. So you can just kind of do your own little, or if you have other masks, you know, go with that. Let's put this here. Yeah, put that there. Okay. So now let me get my my wet strength. Now the wet strength is pretty big pieces. So this is where an old printmaking technique came in. So I want to control this paper. It's very, you know, it's a tissue paper. It's a large sheet. It can be everywhere. And I'm not using, it's even hard to use, like to sort of use, what am I thinking? You sort of mark your register. Oh my God. It's hard to register this sort of thin paper anyhow. So one of the things we used to do when we were putting large pieces down, we would not fold, but sort of bend the paper so that you can roll it. So right here, you see how I can pull the paper tight and I can lay it down and see what I'm doing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to then lift it up, and starting in the middle, I'm going to move out and then move out this way. And that really gets rid of a lot of your wrinkles. And then I'm going to push it forward and let it start moving forward and then go out on either side. And that's a good way to get a tea paper, wet strength paper, which is a tissue paper, any thin paper that you may be using. Unless it's a nice stiff printmaking paper like a 280, 320 GSM, or 140 weight paper if you're doing with the US calculations. It's going to be hard to control it. So tip number 1, take it and roll it down like that. And look, there's really no wrinkles in here. The only ones I'm getting is from the moisture, because this paper is going to absorb the moisture and you're going to get a little bit of that. And when I go to lay this back down again and I want to somewhat register it, I can basically do the same thing. Kind of line that bottom up. I'll show you. But right now we're going to let this dry. With the wet strength, I've been letting it sit about 5 to 7 or 8 minutes. I really want to get a good pull. So we're going to let this set up and I'll be right back. Okay, I'd say that was a good 6 or 7 minutes of waiting. And you can see how nicely sucked down these are. We're seeing the white paper here, but it's all nice and tight. That's what we want. Let's just start with a corner. Oh yeah. Getting good. Good, good, good. This is looking good. So the ghosts from the red, there was that last pool that I showed you, are really looking nice. So let's take a look at it. So see already, oh, it's so good. And I like this framework because I had done a smaller piece, but I left that there purposely because I knew it was just going to frame things and just give that extra bit. Now, the white, I could go right to staining this, like maybe with Seth's spray dyes or something like that, and it would just be amazing. But we're going to do another layer. So we're going to kind of sort of make this pattern even a little more obscure, and you could keep on going. But we'll do another layer so you can see. And then I'll end up showing you the final one with the spray on it. But yeah, this is good. So now what I have down here, what's going to be left again, are these really nice shapes here that have the paint on it, right? So what we want to do is I want to make sure that this is dry. And then I'm going to come back with another color. I can even use a dark color. Like this would really look nice with, I think I got them all. Here's one right here. Let's make sure I got them all. Nope, that one's there. Okay, so, so what I think I'm going to do, because I really want these to pop and I want you to see how fun these can be. I have this green I like. It's called Hooker's Green and Hooker's Green Lake Deep Extra. But I love this green. And so it's going to be a dark background on here, but it's really going to make these colors pop. And then I'll do a second sheet. So I like working with at least a couple of sheets, because what it's going to do, we're going to get this print we've got in the first one. We're going to do a layer on. We'll have this one, which can be sort of a finished piece in itself. You want enough to spread around, but you don't want so much that it's, you know, kind of goopy, because I want to be able to, I want it thin enough that when we go to pull it, we're really going to get the pattern to come up. So you know how it is, if you have too much paint down, that ghost that's left down here, and this is considered a ghost print. Well, it's sort of like a ghost because it's what's left over from the masks. I love this sort of flora, fauna, kind of underwater kind of look to them. I think they're just beautiful. And I think they go, to me, they go in with a lot of different styles. You know, I have a very organic style, and I feel because they're organic, I'm getting that, and I just can see where if I were to change the color palette that I'm using a little bit, I'm using bright and fun colors right now because I was just in just that real happy, you know, kind of wanted a lot of kind of color in my life. But I think if I also were to put some kind of indigenous colors down, like earthy, clay tones, kind of jute kind of colors, I could change the look of these stencils completely into something that really has a real indigenous look to them. I think that I feel that the way these were designed, they just go in with so many kinds of vibes, you know, like whatever your vibe is, you know, I feel like these work with them, and it's the color choices that make the difference. Color choices, how you're working with them on the gel plate. I'm putting a lot of layers. I'm getting, you know me, I'm getting a lot of the grunge, my old wall. I'm getting these multiple kind of things because I pulled this ghost that was down there. So, so I'm, you know, I'm kind of getting a little, I'm getting more of my style of printing and doing art, where someone else will use a different color palette. Maybe, you know, you're just coming at it differently, and it's going to look, they're going to look quite a bit different. So let's let this dry. Okay, let's go ahead and pull this. It's been sitting about 5 minutes or so. These spots you see here is just because I was cleaning some of my other masks and I just spilled a little water. Ooh. I plan on Momigami in this paper. So, oh, see how good this is? And those colors just pop. But look how complex the print is, because of the old wall style layering, as well as, you know, pulling these masks. Look at that. Oh, this is really pretty. I like this a lot. Just have a lot going on, and you know, like using this as collage papers. These are just good. So that's basically cleaning up. And we've got that really beautiful print. Okay, so now let's go ahead and we're going to do our next layer of layering. Next layer of layering. Oh boy. It's been a long day. So I'm using this green, which is a translucent, and I want to use this blue. So I'm going from my lighter colors now to my darker colors. Remember we talked about that. You want to start with your lighter colors, and then you want to come back with your next level layer of colors. And I kind of like just to get sort of doing striations, but I'm also kind of like mixing the paint with my brayer too, just to get just a cool tone where you're still seeing the blue and the green, but it's not so like, you know, one, it's not so striated. Okay, so we're going to go and put some more stencils down, but now I'm going to kind of put some of these things in the opposite direction. So I'm just kind of looking at where things were, kind of spread them out a little bit. There, 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 there. Put this up here. Put this right here. We have another one here. Love it. So we're going to grab our first one, and we're going to fold it again like I did. And I'm going to fold it up again because I want to see where the edge of my plate is, where this is. And then what I can do, I'm kind of get down here with it, but I can sort of see where I need to get this on here. So we have it there, but you see I only have a little bit down. I haven't committed everything. Wow, that lined up really nicely. So what we're going to do is keep on working from the middle out to the top there. Perfect. And see, we got it back down. It's registered. And we've got some really cool overlaps here. And we're going to let this dry again. And we'll pull it, see what we have. Be back. Okay, again, it's been about 5 or 6 minutes. I think we're ready to pull. I feel a little moisture in here, but it's not bad at all. So let's see what we get. Okay. Oh, I love it. See how this next layer, a little deeper in tone, plays on top of what we already have. And we just start pushing some of it back. Now, what I like to do is that you could do another layer, but I like to stop here because what's left of these white spaces, I really want to spray them with some of Seth's spray dye and really take it and like have some of this color laying underneath it. So we're going to do that once this is completely dry. But I mean, look how beautifully complex this print is. And yet the beauty of the masks are there. But we're getting a really nice integrated palette. So we're going to let this dry and we'll be back. Okay, so we are back and the print is all nice and dry, and you can see where I did the staining. I just used Seth's dye sprays in, this one is sunflower. So it kind of went underneath all the places that were white, you know, all the places that look more like this. And so it's nice and dry, and you can see how beautifully it just harmonizes the print without adding another layer of color. I mean, without adding more paint. So you can really control your design, your pattern, and then just come back, and then you actually are adding another layer of color. You're just not using acrylic. We're using, you know, I wonder if I should cut this or not. Maybe I'll tear it. We're using the dye. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick job here of ripping this down. I'll just get it started, and then I'll do the rest off camera, because we're going to momigami this. I want to show you what it's going to look like. So I'm going to get this sort of natural edge going here. Just put it right up against the print, and then we'll tear it. I saved this because this is white strength paper, so this is good for dyeing and staining more. I don't throw those pieces away because this paper is already expensive. And those are just great to put in my dye bundles, and just to do other staining with. So I'm very, you know, conservative when it comes to this wet strength paper. Okay. Alrighty. And I'll grab these last two sides and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. All the edges are ripped. And so I don't have any starch or anything on this, but this is acrylic. So it's going to help hold the crinkles nicely. So you kind of always start at the edge. You want to kind of always make sure you fold your edges in as you go, so that it helps to keep the rips happening when you first start this momigami process. So let's see what we get. So you want to kind of sort of just kind of get it going first really good. And of course, the more you crinkle, the better it gets. But right now, because we have this acrylic, we're not going to have to do much to get it to something that will look nice. Just a way to change the texture of this wet strength, and just add a little bit more, I feel like, dimension and texture to the piece without so look at it now. I mean, it just starts taking on the quality of like a fabric. So I'm gonna do it again. Yeah, I really love this. I mean, you know, we go from that thin wet strength paper to jelly printing on our large plate. I mean, look at this large piece of art we've just created, to being able to I feel have a finished piece. Of course, you could have collaged on it. You could do other things to it. But I just wanted to have this feeling of fabric. I mean, the paper is so durable feeling. It's just, the backside is even cool. Where the other paints kind of came through. I just think it's just pretty. I mean, you know, like just have a finished piece just by going through that. And I don't have a frame big enough, but I have these frames like this, these floating frames. And I would, in a bigger frame, I would literally put it in something like this. Now, of course, we would have the backing on it. But if it were floating in here, let's say, you know, from edge to edge, you know, proper, like not, this piece is a little too big. But I might even, if I wanted this to fit in this frame, I may even scale it down some because I don't really need these edges here. Because what's happened is this piece has naturally had that red edge going around it. But I think something like this mounted on a board in a floating frame, you wouldn't need to even put a glass or anything over it because it's paint. It's just like if it were a painting, an acrylic painting. It'll hold, it'll last, it'll, you know, really hold up to wear, and it could be really pretty. So anyhow, I wanted to show you all that just to be encouraged to think in terms, excuse me, sorry, to think in terms of finished art. But with this large plate, it's just insane. And I mean, this is just so rich in texture. You know, we can see all of the various painting and the old wall that's down there. With this beautiful, simplistic sort of flora stencils. So these are Mary Beth Shaw Stencil Girl. So if you want them, I'll make sure that the link is below the video for them. Of course, this is a Gelli Arts super large plate. I'll put the link for it below the video, and I do have a 10% off, so I'll give you the code that you would use at checkouts. If you want to buy the plate, might as well get 10% off. And yep, that's everything. So anyway, hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll be back for more. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. I'll be definitely making more. All right, take care. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend, you all. Bye-bye.